This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks fall back below 500. They are now 12-13 on the season as they lose 122 to 102. They got demolished by the Indiana Pacers. Demolished. A team that versus the New York Knicks this season has been scoring 97.5 points per game versus the New York Knicks in 2 games. A team that came into the game averaging 107 points per game dropped 122 on the New York Knicks. 122, ladies and gentlemen. The defense hasn't gotten better since we've transitioned Alec Burks to the starting spot. The offense is sometimes there, not sometimes there. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what's happening or what we're going to do. But the Knicks are below 500. And since the start of the season, since they began 5-1, they've been playing sub 500 basketball. We letting rookies get loose on us. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. What Chris Duarte have tonight? 23 points? Something like that? I don't know what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, but I got Tony Crow. I got Cornerstone Kev, Podcaster Kev, whatever you want to call him, whatever kind of Kev is in the building, he's in the building tonight. We're going to talk about it. Tony Crow, man, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. It looked like they was trying and they weren't trying. Like, I don't want to shoot them bail and say, it was a back-to-back and they didn't get there till 5 a.m. or whatever it was. But I mean, it showed that they were sluggish. Passes weren't crisp. On a defensive end, the first move that Indiana made seemed to lead to an easy score, like continuously. There was no backup effort. You know what I mean? It was like initial effort, but there was no continuous effort. And it was like that the whole game. I thought they would adjust. They really didn't. And I think something's gonna have to give to turn this season around. It's no more saying, it's early. We're a third of a way now. We're gonna have to fix this.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to do something, man. I don't know. We got to do something. Cornerstone Kev, what's popping with you, man? Talk to me. How you feeling? How you feeling tonight?
First, salute to you, Sim. Salute to you, Tone. Black is definitely time. Salute to the chat. How I'm feeling tonight? If you would have told me that today, December 8th, that we were going to be a game under 500, I would have said you're bugging. But here we are, a game under 500 to a team who we talked about earlier today, what we thought that would be kind of evenly, matched. And we just, Tone, I can't agree with you. I think we just sleptwalked through this whole process today, through this whole game. I mean, you see RJ missing shots at the basket. You see, where was the Randle that I saw yesterday?
I mean, Randle played hard.
Yeah, but still,
he may not have shot the ball well, but he played hard. I feel like RJ and Randle came to play. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they came to play. I think they played hard. Right? You're not going to be super efficient every single night. Randle definitely wasn't efficient tonight. Randle hasn't been efficient against this team all season long. All season long. Randle shot 33% tonight. He's been shooting 38% against this team. He's been shooting 12% from the three-point line against this team. It's what he's been doing against this team. But I thought he still came and played hard.
But this wasn't the Randle from last night. The Randle from last night was getting everybody involved. Or at least trying to get everybody involved.
Okay, so check this out. Here's the argument and the debate. Right? It's like, which one comes first, the chicken or the egg? Last night, was Randle getting people involved because they were hitting shots? So it's like, okay, I can pass to everybody because they're knocking down shots tonight. But then when people are not hitting shots, don't you expect Randle to say, well, I guess it's time for me to try to get some buckets? Isn't that how it's supposed to go? Whether or not you think Randle is that guy and can do it, he's getting paid to be that guy on this team. So is that not what you expect him to do? So which one is really coming first? Is it that other players are not hitting shots, and so Randle says, I've got to do such and such? Or is it that he is taking control of the ball and other people are not hitting shots?
He is a big piece of what we're trying to accomplish. He is that dude. All right. So, but I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting this squarely on RJ and Randle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing that because it was a total team effort. Now, if you want me to single somebody out, I'm going to single out Evan Fournier. That's who I'll single out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because his offense. I was talking with a colleague of mine, and about this. When we got Kemba, we got Evan. We knew what their defensive deficiencies were, but we figured that we could live with that because the points they were going to give us more points. They're not giving us anything now.
Well, obviously,
Well, Kemba's not playing.
He's not playing.
Right, he's not playing. But even Evan now is not giving us nothing. Nothing on the offense and definitely nothing on the defense. So what good are you?
Evan looking like he about to be sitting right next to Kemba.
It does, and that's going to be.
I wouldn't have a problem with.
Listen, that's going to be that doesn't look good at all. Okay, Kemba, you're paying him $8 million. Everybody knew about his injury issues, and those type of things. Evan Fournier, you're paying him some serious money, and if he ends up on the bench next to Kemba, that's an issue. That's a serious issue. I don't think they will, Tony. The only reason why I don't think they will is because if you do that, it's no way you're trading them.
And that reflects very poorly on the front office.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is this: he can't have the same. He can't say, "Oh, I view Fournier as a starter." You know what I mean? And the same excuse he used for Kemba. So maybe bring Kemba back. Leave Burks in the starting lineup and try Fournier off the bench in the rotation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that maybe that saves face a little bit. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not even. I know how everybody feels about Kemba, but
no, I like Kemba. I like Kemba. I just number one. Well, let me backtrack. You don't really know about players when you don't see them on a nightly basis. I knew what Kemba did towards us, but I didn't. I didn't know how small he was, and I didn't know how he really looked when he was with Boston. I just heard that he was coming to us, and I figured, all right, this is the point guard that we've been looking for. Let's now we can rock, and it hasn't happened this year.
Yeah, I mean, but look, going back to Evan Fournier though,
This guy.
it's tough.
Next time I'm high on somebody, just please slap me in the head. I give you permission to slap me in the head. I was high on. I was high on.
So was I. But it's really tough, and yeah, Tony, it does. It looks bad on the organization for the move that they made. I would rather them admit their mistake and cut their losses.
Yes.
Then say, well, we got to stick with it. We got to ride with it. We got to,
exactly.
Cut your losses. If that's what you got to do, cut your losses.
When you say that, what do you mean? Because I think I don't see it being a problem with Fournier being demoted. I think it looks real bad if he's demoted and Kemba's still out of the rotation. That's the only reason why I say, maybe give Kemba another shot, move Fournier to the second unit, keep Burks in the lineup.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Okay. I get that.
What do you mean by cut your losses? Like, do you mean like because
let's
just ride it out until you can do something with
when
it?
I say cut your losses, what I'm saying is maybe, and it still might be too early to tell, you know what I mean? But maybe you just made the wrong decision. You invested some money in this guy, and you're not going to get what your investment is worth. So let's move him and figure out what the next move is, because that's a sunk cost. It's sunk. That money that you spent, it's spent. It's done. You're not going to change that. So now, if you look and you're saying this, he's not the guy, and Tom Thibodeau was like, "Yo, Leon, I can't rock with this dude. I'm not sure how to use him. I don't like the way he's playing defense. Now, he doesn't give me the hustle points that I want. We need something else." You know what I mean? I would rather the front office say, "You know what? We made a mistake. Let's figure out how to fix it."
The only move I think that can be made that quickly is a John Wall move, because I think they you know what I mean, they have no demands as far as what they want. You know what I mean? You're bringing back vets. I think we could pull that off with we're basically eating that money. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're giving up Fournier, we're giving up Walker. That's 30 out of the what? How much he's owed? 40
million,
something?
44.
You know what I mean? We're gonna have to continue to add another
the thing
10.
is, if they're moving John Wall, right? They don't want a contract that's longer. Kemba's isn't longer, but Fournier's might be a little bit longer than John Wall's.
It's longer, but I think it's a lot.
It's definitely
less.
cheaper, but
you know what I mean. So that may be something,
man.
Like in the especially if Wall's saying he's not budging on, he's not taking a buyout. You know what I mean? Like he wants all his money.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's tough, man. Look, you're a guy that's been in the league for a while. You've averaged 20 points a game for a while. 17 to 20 points a game, and you're getting done in by Chris Duarte. And that's not a diss to Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte is going to be a good player in this league, I think. I think he's going to be very good. I think he's going to be an all-star one day. Just from things that I see.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And but still, you should have a little bit more basketball savvy than this kid. And this kid is running circles around you, cutting backdoor, running circles around you. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Evan Fournier tonight, 7 points, ladies and gentlemen. 7 points for Evan Fournier, 4 rebounds, shot 33% from the field and 33% from the three-point line, and he only took 6 shots. Only played 22 minutes tonight, only took 6 shots. The Knicks were led by R.J. Barrett. He had 19 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. As a matter of fact, in every game against the Indiana Pacers, R.J. Barrett's been the leading guy. All right, well, at least over the first 2 games, he's been the leading scorer against the Pacers for the Knicks, averaging 17.5 points per game, and now he scored 19 tonight against the Pacers. Shot 42% from the field and 60% from the three-point line. Not too bad. Julius Randle, he had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Only shot 33% from the field and 33% from the three-point line. Alec Burks, 15 points, 2 rebounds. Emmanuel Quickley, 13 points, 2 rebounds. Emmanuel Quickley had 11 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Obi Toppin had 13 points and 2 rebounds. Derrick Rose, 8 points. Mitchell Robinson, 4 points, 2 rebounds. This team, they came in, they wanted it more than the Knicks did. A lot of noise in the media about Indiana and maybe guys are up for grabs and all this kind of stuff. And they decided to rise to the challenge, and probably they knew that the Knicks are a team that's in flux just like them. The Knicks are a team that's struggling to try to find their way, and they probably knew if they flexed, the Knicks might break, and the Knicks break. The Pacers flexed, and the Knicks broke. For the Indiana Pacers, ladies and gentlemen, they were led by Chris Duarte. We were just talking about Chris Duarte versus Evan Fournier. Chris Duarte had 23 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds for Chris Duarte. Domantas Sabonis had 21 points and 11 rebounds, thoroughly outplaying Julius Randle. Thoroughly. 21 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 87% from the field, 100% from the three-point line, 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Miles Turner, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Karis LeVert, 15 points and 6 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, 16 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. Only 1 turnover for Malcolm Brogdon. They were light on the bench side tonight, but they still got production from the bench. Jeremy Lamb, 4 points.
That's a problem.
Brissett, 5 points.
That's a problem.
Martin, 8 points. Wanamaker, 6 points. Badazzi, he only had 2 points, 3 rebounds. Still got some production from the bench. Tough night for the Knicks, man. Really tough night for the New York Knicks. 1 week away from December the 15th. And now then you're really going to start to hear rumors about what the Knicks might do. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go, because I want to believe that it's going to get better. Right? And last year, I did believe it was going to get better because the Knicks played defense. Even at this point in the season, you could see that the Knicks were a decent defending team. And I felt like, okay, the defense can maybe get them by, stay around 500. I didn't know that they was going to go on a long 9-game winning streak. Like, we can get around, stay around 500. We could be in the mix when it comes to the play-in. Obviously, the Knicks went on a longer winning streak and got to the 4th seed. Our defense just isn't consistent enough this year. Just isn't consistent enough. And it doesn't feel like we have the same pride. I was listening to the Postgame a little bit on MSG. And one thing they were saying is a game like tonight does test your players, right? You go to San Antonio and then you got a time change back to Indiana. We talked about that on the game preview. A little bit of a weird schedule. It's back-to-back. A team you beat San Antonio, then a team in Indiana that is going to be a physical game. How do your players respond? And you learn a lot about your guys. You know what I mean? And that made me a little bit nervous when they said that, because I'm thinking, yeah, you do. You learn a lot about your guys. And if we learn something about our guys, what did we learn? That maybe they don't have the same heart that we had last year.
Is that because the 2 players that we don't have anymore?
I don't know if it's because we don't have them or if it's because the players that we did bring in, and I don't want to say, look, Kemba's a good guy and stuff like that, and I don't want to even put all of that on Fournier, but maybe the chemistry of the team, the something that was in there with this team just isn't there. I don't know what the mix is. I don't know what the mix is. It could be them. It could be them. And maybe they have more of a laissez-faire attitude than the other guys. I don't know. But it could be something else that's just not mixing this year.
I think chemistry is really
Don't say it.
cliché.
Don't say it.
Cliché-ish.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it,
I
Ken.
am, because
That's
you
not
look
true.
at a team like the Bulls. Where were the Bulls last year? Where were the Bulls
But
last
they
year?
have chemistry this year.
They had 4 new players.
It doesn't mean that you're not gonna have chemistry. Let me ask you something. 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 This is what we're gonna do right here, right now. Let me ask you this. When you met your wife, right? The first time you seen her and your eyes started twinkling, you guys have chemistry?
Honestly,
Remember, this is
Huh?
recorded.
Come on,
Yeah,
come
I
on,
know.
come on, come on, come on.
Not the first, and she sleep too. So there
Okay,
you go.
yeah. You see, he whispered that. He had to whisper that. He wasn't sure what to say. But you guys developed some chemistry.
We did. You know why? We didn't at first, because the next day when I first met her, the next day I was going to my first Knicks playoff game, my first Knicks game ever. So I wasn't really thinking about
But
that
your
night.
personality, though. I mean, you wasn't thinking about it, but your personality. Did your personalities match?
Okay.
Did they?
Okay.
Did they? Yes or no? Did they?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
They somewhat did. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your personalities mixed and they matched a little bit, but you hadn't met her before. You hadn't been around her before. You're just meeting her, but you knew, our personalities kind of hit it off a little bit, right? Kind of hit it off. That can
Okay.
happen. That can happen. You can have some new players and their personalities just hit, and so the chemistry is there. Sometimes you have to work a little bit harder at the chemistry, and sometimes you never get the same chemistry back. Chemistry does mean something. Does chemistry override talent? Maybe not. But when you have a team that doesn't have crazy talent, chemistry means a lot. I hope your wife rewinds this too.
I hope she does not.
She gonna see you get a little bit shaky, like, hey, wait a minute, Cam, what's up?
Hey, can I just add one thing about the Bulls and their early success? And I think one reason they have chemistry is because everybody they got 4 new guys, but they all fell in line. They gave people roles. Like Levine didn't come and say, "Hey, I'm the guy. I'm the number one." Like he lets DeRozan play the number one option role, and he's 1B or you know what I mean? They share it, whatever you want to say, but he's not dominating that role. And Ball gets to do what he does best with lower expectation. You know what I mean? Like I have 2 guys ahead of me. All I gotta do is hit open shots and make the right reads, play defense. You know what I mean? Like their roles are solidified, and that's one reason why they have good chemistry right now.
And Kev, chemistry doesn't always mean, like you're getting along off the court and that kind of stuff. It's not that kind of chemistry. It's
I understand. I totally get that.
It's about understanding the nuances of each other's game. You know what I'm saying? If I pass it to Fournier, he likes the ball. I'm just using this as an example. If I pass the ball to Fournier, he likes the ball kind of on his left side because he likes to bring the ball across his chest to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? When you have chemistry with somebody, you understand those little nuances and other players' tendencies. And this team just has never found that sweet spot, at least right now, 24 games into the season, haven't found that sweet spot of understanding those things about each other. But the thing I'm always going to go back to it, Peyton, Randle, RJ, Mitch, whoever else I missed, Reggie Bullock, they had been together for a year before last season. And Peyton and Randle, obviously a little bit longer, but they had been together for at least a year where you pick those things up. But, It's not clicking, man. 122-102, the Knicks lose, ladies and gentlemen, to the Indiana Pacers. We're going to be taking phone calls shortly because I want to hear what you guys are thinking, what you guys are feeling. I know people are calling for trades and all kinds of everything, and I get it, and I'm not totally disagreeing with you either, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not totally disagreeing with you because sometimes you know when it's not going to click, and I can it kind of feels to me like it's not going to click right now. The Indiana Pacers, they win the rebounding battle 42-36. 27 assists for the Indiana Pacers tonight. 27 assists. Over 2 games against the Knicks, they averaged 22 assists. Tonight they get 27. I mean, they got as many assists as the Spurs average. And they're not the Spurs. They don't have the same offense as the Spurs, but it looked like that tonight. 8 steals for the Pacers. 6 steals for the Knicks. Oh, by the way, the Knicks only had 17 assists tonight. 8 blocks for the Knicks, 4 blocks for the Pacers, 13 turnovers for the Knicks, 9 for the Pacers. The Knicks only shot 42% from the field. The Pacers shot 53.5% from the field. 30% from 3 for the Knicks, 37% from 3 for the Pacers. And they came into the game shooting, I think they were shooting a lower percentage than that. I forgot exactly what it was. Points in the paint, the Indiana Pacers, 60 points in the paint. I think they came into the game averaging about 47 or 48. 60 points in the paint. 44 points in the paint for the Knicks. Both teams with 14 second chance points, 26 fast break points for the Pacers, and 16 for the New York Knicks. Ah, boy. The Pacers, again, led by Chris Duarte. The Knicks led by R.J. Barrett. The Knicks, Julius Randle leads the Knicks in rebounds at 8. Domantas Sabonis leads the Pacers in rebounds at 11. Derrick Rose with 7 assists for the Knicks. Karis LeVert led the Pacers with 6 assists. Mitchell Robinson had 2 blocks, and Miles Turner had 2 blocks for the Pacers. Josh, what's going on, man? After Josh speaks, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start taking some phone calls. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, everybody? Obviously, this team is just really inconsistent. And, I'll keep saying it again. You got to be able to make shots. These guys have been open. They had a lot of open shots tonight. We just weren't able to hit them quickly. Had open shots. Our bench, which was supposed to be, a positive coming into this game, did not perform that well. We didn't produce that well from the bench. So that was another problem tonight. Defensively, we were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it just goes to show you that this team is just completely inconsistent. One night, where we're playing well on all cylinders, the ball's moving, guys are knocking down shots. Other nights, our defense is going to win us some ball games. And then some nights, our defense is terrible. And, our offense is still there and the defense is terrible, or vice versa. So, and I'll continue to say it. I believe it was a mistake by taking Kemba Walker out the lineup and making any lineup changes, because now you open up a huge can of worms. Now you're about to make another lineup change. So when is consistency ever going to come for this team, right? I felt like the Knicks, even though they weren't playing up to the level that we thought they were going to play at, they weren't playing that terrible enough that warranted a lineup change, in my opinion. If if Thibodeau would have just kept the lineups the same, staggered the minutes a little bit, if Fournier's not playing well, take him off the floor. Same way he was doing with Kemba Walker, and the defense was improving by him doing that. But now by making a lineup change, he's opened up a whole can of worms, and, this team is just not going to get better. So the best thing, in my opinion, for the Knicks to do, if they, I know hindsight is 2020. They already made the lineup change already. Was to keep everything the same, and just ride out with these guys. None of these guys are going to be here long term. All these contracts are flexible enough where you can be able to move them and go out and get players during the season if you want to go out and make trades or what have you.
I mean, so I'm going to say the same thing that I said for the front office. If you recognize something's not working, I mean, you can go back to it. There's nothing, I don't think Thibodeau has a pride thing to say, I made this change, now I'm not going to go back to it. Go back to it if that's what, he's going to try to ride this out for a couple more games, I'm sure, to see if anything happens. But I'm hoping that if he figures out or sees and says, what, this isn't working either, let me go back to it, then he does and doesn't have, a pride thing in the way.
But again, I feel like going back to it now at this point, it shows, like, I think that sends a terrible message to the locker room. That's why I would have never made the change in the first place.
I don't
Because
know.
as a coach, how do you tell your players that I'm doing this for a particular reason, and then when that doesn't work, you're gonna go back to what you were doing before? Like, what does that say to a team, to a locker room?
I mean, it could say a lot of things. It could say we're trying to figure out what works best for us.
Yeah, Josh, when
Right?
he's on the floor, when Kemba was on the floor, we were, I don't know, we were a minus something. When he's on the floor, when he's off the floor, we're a plus.
Then Kev, you stagger his minutes. You stagger his minutes. I'm talking about the lineup changes.
Right. I mean, cool. I mean, he did it.
Yeah, but
right?
that's done already. Yeah,
that's done already. Like, you can't change it, but you can. I mean, you can change back to it. You can. I mean, they've asked him and said, "Hey, would you think about putting Kemba back out there?" And he said, "Everything's up for discussion. Anything can happen." And I don't think it sends anything to the locker room except for the fact that we're trying to figure out something that works because we're not playing well.
Sam, what I'm saying is
how else do you figure out?
What you're saying, Josh?
I see what you're saying. That you can't go back to it because you made, you made this change, but.
And then the reason why you made the change was for defensive purposes, but you knew that Kemba and Fournier were going to be a defensive downgrade by bringing them in anyway.
But here's the thing. But do you know if it was Tom Thibodeau who brought him in? Like, you keep saying you knew, like Tom Thibodeau made that decision.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if the front office is going with that, if the front office is the one that made that decision, you just ride it out. That's what I'm saying. You ride it out.
No, you don't. I disagree. You don't just ride it out. You have to, as a coach, you have to make a decision that you think is best for the team. And if you make a mistake, you can go back and fix the mistake. I mean, how many times? I'm gonna tell you.
That's why you made it. But that's why you made the decision in the first place, because you thought it was a mistake. That's what I'm saying. That's why you made the decision in the first place.
I mean, okay, so what? You made a decision. You can go back on your decision. I don't know how many times I've put a player in the game and it turned out to be the wrong decision. I say, you know what? This ain't working. Hey, go get that person. I don't know how many times I put somebody in a lineup thinking that this person was going to provide A, B, and C.
For one guy.
Right? A, B, and C, and they froze up and clammed up out there on the floor. And I said, this ain't going to work. This guy's got to come out the rotation. I'm going to go back to what I was doing because I'm comfortable with it. I mean, you can do that. That's what a coach is supposed to do. Try to figure out what's happening and what's going on. You're going to make mistakes.
A coach is also supposed to get the most out of his players.
And that's what that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to see which lineups help you get the most out of your players. You might make mistakes along the way. It's not going to be perfect.
And it's not perfect now.
If you make a mistake, are you supposed to die on that hill? Or try to fix it, or say maybe I made a mistake. Let's try it. It wasn't as bad as I thought. You know what I mean? Like, you can absolutely go back to a situation. Like, I'm sure you changed your mind on something in your life. Like, it's not set in stone. You know what I mean? And he said that from the beginning.
My big thing is, again, I just think it sends the wrong message to this locker room. That for one reason, you're going to take a guy out, right? You're going to take him out the starting lineup completely, and then when you fail on something. Now you want to go back to that player and expect to get a different result. But that's what I'm saying.
But maybe he's not going back to expect to get it. If you made a move and it gets worse, maybe you say, okay, well, let me go back to this and at least get to the baseline and then see if there's something else we can do. Like, I mean, because basketball is a moving thing. It moves and changes and goes in different directions all the time. You have to be on top of your game to be ready.
It's not constant.
Yeah, and be ready to make a move. You know what I'm saying? Because if he didn't do anything and we still lost the same exact games, everyone will be saying Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to make any adjustments.
But Sam, Tom Thibodeau did make an adjustment by limiting Kemba Walker's minutes.
But just minutes. Okay, so it did.
It was working.
But what I'm saying is, if you make an adjustment because maybe you thought you could even get better, every adjustment's not going to be perfect. You can't expect perfection every time. So you make an adjustment. If it doesn't work, you have the right to say, hey, maybe I just need to go back to this.
But I tried.
what I'm saying? But we tried something. It didn't work. Just tonight, I'm playing in the game. I put in a defensive strategy that we never practiced. And I told the team, we're going to try this. They might score. But we're going to see how it works. I want to see how they're going to respond to it. We did it for 2 possessions. And it actually worked both possessions. Right? I mean, that's what you do. Sometimes you got to take a chance if you want to try to get better. And sometimes it might backfire, and you withhold the right to go back to whatever your baseline is. Let me get to a caller. Let me get to this caller. Yeah. Caller, you're live. What's poppin'? Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Ron. I'm from Orlando, Florida right now.
What's going on, Ron?
Big fan. I was originally from. What's up, panel? What's up, chat? Shout out.
What's going on with you, brother?
So I was originally going to come on here and talk about something different, but now listening to what you guys say, I'm going to let you know there's no way Tom Thibodeau can go back to this. He can't say my bad, and here's why. You're concentrating on just Kemba and saying Kemba. He pulled Kemba out of the lineup, and that he can always go back and change that. But he can't because he did more than just change Kemba out of the lineup, right? He benched Mitch. So Mitch comes in. He brings in Burks. So now Burks is starting, and now we still look the same. Defense is still bad. We still losing games. They're freezing out RJ now. RJ had a 32-point game, 35-point game yesterday. In the first half, he only saw 4 shots. 4 shots for your field goal attempts. That's it, right? Kemba, benched. Next, they're going to probably look to move somebody else. You've made too many moves, pulled too many people up. Watch those people regress. It's going to be hard to bring them all back in or one of them back in and say, my bad, until you address what the real problem is, and that's that nobody plays well with Julius Randle. You're not really addressing the problem. That bench looked good. You started pulling people out from the bench and putting them in the starting lineup, and then they started looking terrible. Evan Fournier still hasn't gotten it. And you know what? He hasn't pulled Evan Fournier from that front starting lineup. All of the moves that Tibbs has done have been basically saying to everyone else, you're not meshing well with Randle, right? And until Randle starts to change his game so that everybody else can do it, we're going to lose. This whole we're losing because we don't have Alfred Payton Bullock is bogus.
Bro, Kemba Walker going out the lineup had nothing to do with Julius Randle. Nothing whatsoever. Had everything to do with the defense.
The defense still looks awful, though. You just lost 21 points, or however many points Kemba gives you. You benched him, and now everybody.
Kemba Walker was giving you 12. He was giving you 10 to 12 points
to get the chemistry going.
He wasn't giving you 21 points. He was giving you 10 to 12 points.
10 to 12 points. But everybody you pulled out of the starting lineup has done better in the second unit, and everybody that you put in the starting lineup looks probably worse than they did when they were in the second unit.
That's not true because Alec Burks was averaging 9 points a game in the second unit. He's averaging 18 points a game in the starting lineup.
You still have not pulled Evan, and you still not told Randle not to freaking pound that ball like he does.
Bro, that's to me, that's not the issue. Last night, Julius Randle did not pound the basketball, and he really didn't pound the basketball tonight.
Sure he did.
Okay.
The first half, that man had 14 points, 0 assists, and he was basically the guy pushing that ball up.
Who was hitting shots? Who was hitting shots? Tell me who was hitting shots.
Let me ask you this. When you watch Randle, when we talk about the 0 assists, do you watch him when he pounds that ball, makes a spin move, and give the ball off to somebody with like 2 seconds?
So why is Julius? That's not every single play. Everybody always says that. That is not every single play. That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
It's a good portion of them. It's a good portion of them.
Every single play, bro. It is not every single play. It is not every single play. You know, people exacerbate everything about Julius Randle. He's not a perfect player by any means, but he's the entire team is a problem. The entire team is a problem right now, right? Everybody in the starting unit, bro. Hold up. Everybody in the starting unit before that change, their numbers were way down. And it's mainly because they are not hitting shots. And Julius Randle has been finding people open. If you listen to the game preview, RJ Barrett's been open all season long with not a defender within 4 feet in front of him and not hitting the shot. I mean, what else
Okay,
do
but
you
RJ.
want?
Okay, but hold on. Randle is not doing a two-man game with RJ Barrett. He's doing with the worst shooter out there, which is Evan Fournier.
What do you mean he's doing it with the worst? Julius Randle.
He's older.
How many? I want you to go. I want you to go and look at how many assists or how many of RJ Barrett's open shots come from Julius Randle creating the double or triple team and getting it to RJ Barrett across the court from the right side of the court to the left or the left side of the court to the right.
I'll do that. And then I want you to go back and look at how many of all the times that Julius Randle has the ball, how many times he sits on one side and plays a two-man game with Evan Fournier.
I've never denied that. I've never denied that. I've never denied that. We've talked about that all the time. Yes, that happens. It clearly happens.
But that happens a lot in the game, and that's a lot of the time where everybody else is stagnant on the other side of the floor. You can't look at where RJ Barrett and say he's not scoring when the guy is sitting on the other side while these two play pity-pat over there for some stupid congested shot. It just makes no sense.
I mean, they're trying to find a way to make it work the same way that Julius Randle and Reggie Bullock was making it work. You know what I'm saying? But you're putting it all on one guy, saying that, nothing's going to change with the team until one guy.
Well,
take Julius Randle out of the lineup and tell me how good.
Reggie Bullock.
Take Julius Randle out of this lineup and don't play him at all. Tell me how good this team is.
I don't want that. I want Tim to talk to him and make him change the way he plays the game because he has new players in the starting lineup. He has to adjust. You can't go pulling out full entire starting lineups, putting in backups, and then going, oh well, some chemistry. They'll eventually gel with him. I'll tell you right now, if I were Dame Lillard and they traded me to the Knicks, I would be pissed because it is not going to be my job to sit there and revive Randle's freaking career, his all-star performance. It's too much, man.
I disagree with that.
You wouldn't have to worry about those things with Julius Randle because Damian Lillard would be dominating the basketball, right?
Okay.
You got to look at the hierarchy, right? Right now, Julius Randle is the hierarchy. He's at the top of the list for this particular basketball team.
And that's a problem. He could blow up the whole season by himself.
This is what we have right now. This is what we have right now. But I'm going to say this. I keep hearing the same things, but nobody just wants to look at players who are not making freaking shots, wide open shots. That is a problem, too.
And it's not just RJ had 35 points and he only saw 4.
Yes, and guess what? He had 35 points, and because he was hitting shots, they gave him the basketball.
Today, they gave it to him in the second half. He only had 4 attempts in the first.
He shot 42% from the field. When guys are hitting shots, they get the basketball.
Okay.
Guys are not. Go back. Go look. Go see what do you think RJ Barrett is shooting for the season? He is not shooting well for the season. He's shooting terrible for the season up until this point.
Neither is Randle. They're both down, but Randle's taking all them shots and holding the ball and deciding who's going to get the shots off.
Bro, he's not. He took 8. Go look and see what the primary player on every other team takes. Julius Randle took 18 shots today. He's averaging about 16 shots a game. That's
Julius
not a
Randle
lot.
sat out most of the third and the fourth, or at least the fourth. He didn't have a chance to put up more
Julius
shots.
Randle played 31 minutes. RJ Barrett played 34 minutes. Julius Randle played 31 minutes. The number 1 and number 2 amount of minutes on the team.
Okay.
I mean,
if we want to sit there and say that we have to find a team that gels with Julius Randle,
no. That's not what it is. We have to find a team that gels. We have to find a team that gels. We have to find people that gels. Everything is not about Julius Randle. It's about which players work well together. And that's what Tom Thibodeau is trying to figure out.
Okay. Well, right now, let me ask you this.
Every single season.
If you look at a guy like Evan Fournier, and when he was in every other team that he ain't never had problems like he did. Now, Evan Fournier is playing like ass. I'm going to tell you that right now. I won't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But he has never had a problem with any other player on his team, and now he looks like he has a problem with Randle.
Do you know that? I mean, were you following Orlando?
All right, we can pretend that something.
No, I'm just asking you the question. Because you go out there.
I'm not going to
never had a problem.
Whistling past the graveyard and pretend that we don't see the tension between.
No, we do. But I'm just asking you because you say he's never had a problem on any other team. But do you know if he had a problem in Orlando, or do you know if he had a problem in Boston?
No, we haven't seen it like this.
Did you watch every single game? Do you know? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I'm sure you would have heard it from Orlando fans if they saw this, because we're pissed off over here.
I mean, go ask Orlando if they know if Julius Randle and Evan Fournier are having a problem. Those fans, they probably don't, because they're paying attention to Orlando. Like, I have no idea what's going on in Orlando unless I see something on TV where they broke out in a fight. I mean, that's all. That's all.
I didn't see that. But I mean, again, if we're gonna, so look, I hope everything works well. I hope they find chemistry in that starting lineup. The way that Tibbs did it, there's no going back, because what he's done is he's basically shifted everyone else to work around that, and there's no way you can go back. Mitch is looking a little bit better in the second unit, and people were saying that he was ass.
I mean, you know, Mitch had what he had tonight. What he have tonight? What Mitch have tonight?
I don't know, but he was blocking shots. To tell you that much, he looks more comfortable in that second unit than he did in the first.
And he had 4 points and 2 rebounds and 2 blocks.
Okay, you're gonna look at that. You're not gonna look at yesterday. Okay.
No, I'm talking about today. Yeah, yesterday he played great, but we're talking about tonight.
Theoretically, every player should play better when they get moved to the second unit.
So
Ron, Ron, I appreciate. Hey, first of all, I know we got a little heated, but I appreciate the debate. I appreciate the debate. There's no ill will. I appreciate the debate. All right, I just want to let you know that.
I love a good debate. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the call.
Much love.
I don't get it. Listen, and everyone's going to call me a Randle apologist or something like that. I'm not. I just don't believe everything is his fault. You know, every time we turn around, people can say, well, if Randle does this, if Randle does that, if he does this, that, and the third. But then when I ask, well, if you take him out, what happens to the team? Well, they're going to be sorry. I mean, yeah, everybody on the team has to figure out how to play together. Right? Randle makes some boneheaded decisions. He's got to get the ball out of his hands faster. He's got to get the ball out of his hands when the double team is coming. He's got to stop taking a million dribbles before he takes a shot. Just make a decision, get your shot up. All of those things are true about Julius Randle and the way that he plays. But every year we look and search really, really hard for the scapegoat on the reason why we're not a good team or not playing well. Every single year. And it kills me because there are so many players on this team not playing well. But it always comes down, obviously, okay, I get it. Right now, he's the face of the team, makes the most money. He's going to take a grunt of the responsibility. I get that. I just want us to have just, a little sense of objectivity. Big shout out to Fred Wong, man. Thank you for the super chat. And let me get this on over here so we can get it up on the big screen. He said, everybody blamed it. And Fred Wong, you did me a favor, man. You covered up Kev's face. Did me a favor for a couple seconds. Thank you for the super chat, though, Fred. Everybody blamed Kemba. You can't even see if Cornerstone made an ugly face when I said that. But everybody blamed Kemba because of his defense. And here we are having the same problems without him. We have to all admit this team looked better with Kemba, and we had a better chance winning nightly. Could be the case. We will see. We'll see how that whole thing plays out. What's up, Kev?
What's happening?
Spirited conversation with my man Ron. I like conversations like that, though.
Yeah,
I like conversations like that.
Can I say one thing about the Kemba Walker
No,
thing?
Because he just talked to me, so I have the floor right now. I'm just kidding, Josh. Go ahead. Speak your mind. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
So it would have been a little bit different if you don't take Kemba Walker out the rotation completely. He took Kemba Walker out the rotation completely. Kemba Walker's not, in order for Tibbs to go back to it, if that's what he wants to do, if that's still on the table, how would it look if you say, okay, I'm not going to play you at all, right? To now, okay, I want you to be my starter again. Like, what does that tell? What does that message tell your team right there?
You tell me, what do you think that message tells the team?
That message tells me that
I don't know what's going on. I think you mentioned it a few games ago. Maybe Tibbs, his message is falling on deaf ears. Or maybe his message is falling on deaf ears. Like he's saying one thing and then doing another.
Or maybe he's being a man saying, you know what, I was wrong. I want you to back on.
I just don't understand why someone can't admit a mistake and go back and try to.
I made the mistakes all the time.
It's just the message that comes across to the team. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not saying Tibbs can't do that. Obviously, he can do that. But the message that it sends to your team, particularly your veterans, your veteran guys, you know what I'm saying? And I always say this: you lose your veterans, you lose the locker room.
Yeah.
So they went for a short-term fix. You know what I'm saying? That could potentially cause a long-term issue. That's what I'm saying.
Well, here's
I don't know if it does.
But Kemba didn't make
long-term as far as the entire season.
But he didn't make a fuss. He didn't make a fuss out of it. He says, "I got to."
Kev, it's not just about Kemba though. It's about the entire team. The message it sends to the entire team.
But I'm sure that the entire team is saying, you know what, Tibbs is in charge. If he feels like he made a mistake, then we just move on. We just move on.
In a perfect world.
I mean, I think that's what you have to do. Let me get to the caller here. Caller, you live.
Hey, fellas. Hey. How y'all doing, man? I'm seeing the blood pressure.
You hear how we doing, man. Yeah, the blood pressure is rising, and people are steaming. It's boiling. We can't scream at the actual players. You know what I'm saying? So we got to take it out on each other.
Yo, man. Just I don't know what to say. Tony, what's up? Corner Kev. How you doing? Uncle Julio, Josh. This is Ray from Brooklyn. Living in Houston.
It's Cornerstone, not Corner Kev.
The last time that I'm sorry, Cornerstone. My fault. The last time that I was on here, I was obviously reading a couple stats and whatnot. I've been listening to you guys and what you're saying, and I gotta be honest, man. I have no idea where to go, what to do. Now, I just want to be clear. This is not all Julius Randle's fault. And let me also be clear. I am not a Julius Randle apologist. I was very high in wanting to move him last year, but we're not going to get into that. I just want to throw out a theory and hear what you guys have to say about it.
All right.
I think there is a philosophical, fundamental disagreement between the top of the organization all the way down. Because the product that I'm seeing on the court is a reflection of the coach. It's a reflection of the GM. It is a reflection of members within the office and how they want to move and what they want to do. And it seems like there's a lot of philosophies that are going on in terms of the direction of this team and what we want to do and how we want to do it. And it's just creating a lot of confusion, and there's no identity. There's no leader to, there's no Pat Riley to come out and lay the foundation for this organization, right? We know what Pat Riley's about historically. We know what he wants to do. And the newness of this front organization is starting to show. Their novice sort of tendencies with wanting to sign Kemba as a PR move and not really a basketball schematic fit, which then looks bad on Tibbs because I'm not so sure Tibbs would have been the first person out the gate like, oh, I want that player, which then doesn't translate on the court, and you've now tied the hands of Tibbs, which makes him look bad. You put these players next to Randle who don't fit. It's just a complete, what. It is a complete what crazy show that is just going on. And it's frustrating to the fan base who is ready to turn on the organization. And then you got to look at the organization who's looking at the fans who's like, well, hey, these are our season ticket holders, so we got to appease them and all this different stuff. It's just utter madness. And I just don't know where to go or what to do. So I need the therapy. I need you guys to kind of help me out because I see the blood pressure is going through and we're about to explode. And I'm worried about the panel. I'm worried about everybody's mental health and emotional well-being. And I'm all about mental health and emotional well-being. But I just want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. And I got another super chat I'm going to get to after this. 1975 Jam Rock. I'll get to it after we finish this conversation.
I totally agree. I think that there is a little bit of a disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff, right? I think that disconnect is obvious, completely obvious. But what I will say is that, let's say, hypothetically, Tibbs didn't want Kemba to come here, right? Tibbs has to do what he can to keep his job, first of all, right? And I understand that he wants to win, but if he would have kept that starting lineup intact, just the way the front office wanted it, or whatever the case may be, the contracts were flexible enough that you can be able to move them and potentially bring in players that Thibodeau would want. Like somewhere along the line, it was panic. It was a panic move, just like what Sim was saying. And now he's continuing to panic by making these lineup changes. And I think that's the message that it sends down to the team, right? By changing that lineup, that's exactly what you did. The Knicks aren't going to win a championship this year. They're probably going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a championship. So there's no reason to try to be better than, or that expectation, just because that expectation that we have before the season is not going to happen. There's no reason why you need to try to force that issue. The Knicks weren't absolutely atrocious with the Kemba Walker lineup. They were improving. They were somewhere in the middle of the pack offensively and defensively. They weren't terrible. So I just think that it wasn't a good idea to go ahead and make that move. Like you said, Caller, I totally agree that something's not clicking between the front office and the coaching staff. Something's just not clicking there.
Tim, let me just ask you one question. I got to get up out of here.
All right.
So you can continue going on. Do you believe, and this is for the entire panel for you guys to talk about, any trade that you are, how should I say this? The front office has two decisions to make within the next couple of days, months, or whatever. One, you are either selling your star who has the salary to match to upgrade a star, or you are selling the farm and the youth whose salaries don't even come close to matching a star, which means multiple picks, multiple assets, all this different stuff, sending out cash, and you are completely closing the door on developing your rookies in order to get a star in here to pair with Randle. Do you believe that Julius Randle, under his contract through 2026, which he'll be making $30 million by then, discounted all, do you believe you are winning with this guy and this team as constructed right now? And if you're not, would you go ahead and just move Julius Randle come February the 3rd, 2022?
I'd move Julius Randle from getting a better player. Because I don't look at Julius Randle and say he's going to be the Kawhi Leonard that wins me the championship. I've never looked at Julius Randle that way. I believe that Julius Randle can be a good second or third piece. But building, everyone always says you got to build with your best player first. I don't agree with that. I believe that you can put different pieces in place, and then, you bring in guys, and, you can go get hopefully you can find a way to get a guy that's better than Julius Randle. And if you need a guy that's better than that guy, or even with that guy, you can go get that guy. And I believe that you get a guy that is better than Julius Randle will fall in place.
There has to be some.
Get a point guard. Get a point guard like Ben Simmons. Because the salaries do match if you move him and Evan Fournier, and maybe one first pick, and he'll unlock the entire team. Move IQ, move OB, and watch Ben Simmons unlock the young core of OB, RJ, and IQ. All right, I'm out of here.
Okay. All right, appreciate you.
But Sam, along with what you said, the guy has to be substantially better than Julius Randle.
Yes.
Not a lateral move. A lot of people were talking about trade Sabonis for Randle, and this team is going to go further. No. Sabonis is a really good player. I'm not taking anything away from him. I understand, he plays a little bit better brand of basketball, but there's things that Julius Randle can do that Sabonis can't do. And it doesn't make the team better as far as their ceiling by putting Sabonis there instead of Randle. Now, if you talk about trading Randle for maybe a Dame or something like that, that's a little bit different story, because Dame is substantially better than Julius Randle, like way better. And I think that's a little bit.
I think both ways. If you're gonna move him, you want to bring in someone who's better, and if you're gonna bring in a player, a star status player, you want to bring in someone who's substantially better than him, who he's gonna say, okay, I'm gonna defer to this guy. Because if I'm Julius Randle, I'm looking at my team and saying, I'm not, when I want the ball, I want the ball. Who am I deferring to?
Right.
Who's better? Right. And maybe, a lot of people will say to me, well, that's the problem, Sim. He's, we don't trust his decision making and his time to choose to this, that. I get all of that. I understand that. I do. I really do get that. But I think he's a piece to build, and you try to use him and RJ and the guys on his team to get better. But eventually, I think you know that you've got to bring in someone who's better than him.
Substantially better.
Because I don't think he's taking you to the championship.
Right, exactly.
Right, I don't. I think you've got to bring in someone who's better than him, where he can start to say, okay, now I'm down here in the pecking order, right, and understand his role and where it fits. I think that's part of how you build too. It's not always easy though. It's not always easy. Much easier said than done, obviously. Let me get to these super chats first. 1975 Jam Rock. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I still think it's a coaching issue offensively. And he goes on to follow that up with Tibbs don't know how to use Evan and Julius Randle effectively. You know what? Listen, I like Tom Thibodeau, and I like his brand of basketball, and as far as how to emphasizing defense, making sure your guys are in shape, the hustle, all of that stuff. I do agree though that I don't think he understands the best way to use Evan Fournier. You know what I mean? Because we don't see backdoor cuts, scissor cuts, off the ball screens. We don't see a lot of that stuff. And that does fall to me on Tom Thibodeau. And I'm not sure he does know how to use Evan Fournier and get the best out of Evan Fournier. I've got to agree with that statement 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Spree, what's popping with you, brother?
Hey, Spree.
Oh, man. Hope you're doing well. Cornerstone.
How you feeling, bro? Good to talk to you.
Listen, we're getting it off our chest. That's what we're doing right now. We're getting the stress off of our chest.
Yeah, I'll give you a little comedy first. Did you have a problem with Obi trying that dunk in a real game?
Nope.
Down 7?
I don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't either because I knew he would convert it, but because that was insane. But a part of me is like, man, we're down 7 points. If he misses that, but no, that was incredible.
That's part of what we like about having the youth. They can bring that kind of excitement, and of course, there's always when you have the youth, the you have that piece of you where sometimes they're going to make bad decisions, but their bad decisions can turn to good decisions and give you a lot of excitement. Like that's what you really love about the youth, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just in the moment, I was like, wow. I didn't expect him to do that down 7, but that was incredible. But we only run 3 plays on offense, 2-man game.
Right, I'm not lying.
We only run 3 plays: the 2-man game with Evan and Randle, the RJ double pick and roll at the top of the key to get downhill, and a Randle ISO where everyone clears out. Other than those 3 play calls, what else do we run?
You're right. You're right.
We're just so predictable, man. It's and I know I'm more frustrated with the defense, obviously, Sam, because we can score. But I'm just saying we're so predictable on offense.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We were trying to do some things with Kemba Walker where we had two screeners come up to the top of the key. He come off one screen, one guy roll, one guy pop. Then you got 2 other guys in the corners. We were trying to do some of those things with Kemba. Obviously, without Kemba in the lineup, you're not seeing that.
Yeah. I just look. I'm not pulling. This is not a Bass Julius night for me. I didn't love it. It wasn't how I wanted him. Last night the way he played was beautiful. He scored, but that last basket at the end of the first quarter is a good example of him not going quick enough. The one he didn't get off him before the buzzer. Right.
He's
got to go quicker. It's just we talked. Steph hit the nail on the head after I got off. It's not that he's an unselfish player. That he's a selfish player. He's just got to go quick. We talk about it all the time, and you're not going to get your shot off if you go slow. But one other thing, Sim, I thought RJ was mad with Mitch. Did you see that?
I didn't. I didn't see
No.
that. I didn't see that.
Man.
When was this?
So I thought RJ. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Mitch. He was mad. He was giving him a sideways. He had his hands up. I think it was like in the second quarter, where Mitch was late on a rotation, or he was not happy. I have to go back and watch the film. I thought there was like a little 30-second cut where they were talking afterwards, but there was something was not right with the coverage. Mitch was late. RJ thought it was going to be there. Maybe I'm making something up, and maybe it was just in my head. But I thought RJ was frustrated on the play, and RJ didn't have a good game. I'm not trying to break the team up. I'm just saying I thought there was a moment there where they got into it a little bit. And also, did you hear Taj? I heard Taj on TV say. And I really believe I heard this. You can't just play hard until 5 minutes left in the game. He was like, I heard that on TV. Did anybody else hear that?
I'm gonna have to go check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. I was watching the game, having a conversation with my daughter at the same time. So,
okay.
I may not have may not have heard that. But my man Eric in the chat, he says. He says Spree catches everything but the game. Spree, you catch a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, you know what's crazy? You know what's funny? Like a lot of broadcasts, you can't hear what's on the floor from the TV, but for some reason with the MSG, I mean, you can definitely hear Tibbs when he cusses, but you can actually hear the players because it's weird. I try to listen to that to pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not. I try, man. I'm trying to find out what they say to each other.
Right. Yeah. I get you. Trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Yeah. No doubt.
Sim, if you do watch the game again, let me know if you hear Taj say something where he's at the free throw line and he's saying we're not playing hard enough. Don't wait until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure I heard that, and I'm pretty sure RJ and Mitch got into it, but. It was a back-to-back. It was terrible. I don't really have anything more to say other than we are what we are. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today. Like Mike Tomlin said, tomorrow is another day. I got nothing.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Spree, I'm gonna go back and check out the game, and I'm gonna listen for these things.
All right, man.
I'm gonna try
I appreciate you. We'll talk soon, man.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll do a shoot around tomorrow. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow on the shoot around.
All right.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you, Spree. I'm telling you, man. Somebody says Spree is our detective. Simmons Singh says Spree is our detective. Yeah, we need to make sure Spree is getting us, all the inside stuff. Shout out to 1975 Jam Rock again. He said, we need more pin downs, flares, screen to screener action, etc. I agree. I mean, we do. Let me get to Tom Thibodeau. This is Tom Thibodeau's post-game presser. See what he's got to say.
Coach,
looking kind of pale, Tom.
You played late. Once you cleared your bench there, the entire team in the minus category. What was your biggest concern tonight?
Well, just having the necessary energy at the start of the game. We knew we'd have to withstand, the push, transition, keeping the ball out of the paint. So that was probably the biggest thing. Our defense.
Defensively, you talk a lot about not giving teams confidence, but you gave up 70 points there in that first half. Did you feel like points. Indiana was getting everything they wanted?
Well, they're a good team. I thought we scored, but we didn't guard. So, it just takes one guy, and we knew it would be a challenge because of where we were in our schedule. But we got to meet that challenge. We have to find a way to get it done.
How are you continuing to talk the guys through the inconsistency?
Yeah, the games keep coming. We've been a very good road team all year, and so this is a challenge. And now we go to Toronto next, And sometimes the schedule's in your favor, sometimes it's not. And when it's not, you still got to play, and you got to find a way to get it done.
Around the San Antonio game, 2 one-sided losses here. Is there something common that you see here, like that they're not making a run?
Well, you just look at it game to game. Like I said, you tend to, like, how are you trending? What do you need to work on? As I mentioned, you go back to the Atlanta game, played real well in that game, played well in the Brooklyn game, played well enough to win in the Chicago game. We got to find a way to close those out. And then didn't play well in the Denver game, played well in San Antonio. And then it's a back-to-back. So, you got to have the resiliency and the mental toughness to get through adversity. And so that's what we have to continue to work on. So.
We talked after the San Antonio game about how well Julius was moving the ball, and it was a great assistant turnover ratio. Tonight was the opposite. What did you see there, and why do you think it changed such a dramatic change?
Well, again, the same thing. It's not any one particular guy. It's a group together. Everyone has to bring energy. Everyone has to, you can't like shortcut anything, and. Your offense is timing and spacing. Your defense is your commitment to each other, and same thing. So we're all in it together. It's you just have to have the toughness to get things done, and you're not going to feel your best every night in this league. That's part of it, and so that's why your conditioning is so important.
Tom, obviously make that dunk, throwing within 5. But then they scored the next 8 after that. Are you okay with that guy going through his legs there as long as he makes it, or do you? He's a great athlete. He's going to make some incredible plays. That's who he is. Offensively, I'm more concerned about the all-around game and how our team is doing. So, you see, we have a number of players that can make plays that are special. So. As long as it's within the context of the team framework, I'm good.
What does Evan need to do to be more consistent on defense?
Yeah, just, and again, I say it's not any one particular guy. It's the entire group. We can go down the list. Start with, just our defensive transition, get back, get set. And sometimes, if you give in to whatever is ailing you or whatever it might be, in this league, you can find an excuse every night if you want to. Early start time, late start time, travel, back to back, whatever it might be. Some games start at noon, some games start at 8:30. There's all different start times. There's back to backs. The schedule, at the end of the day, we all play 82. So sometimes it's going in your favor, sometimes it's not.
Were you surprised that Nerlens couldn't play and did that throw a wrench and whatever you might be playing?
Yeah, just, you trust the players, trust the medical staff. When they tell you someone can't go, they can't go. That's the next guy, get in there, get the job done. So, we know Taj is always ready. I'm pleased with the way Jericho's working. Mitch got out there, gave us what he had.
You had said before the game that you'd see how Mitch responded to the game. Was he not at full strength?
Yeah, he said he's feeling good. He's just still, working through things. So, I like he responded. He got going. He had, some fouls in that first half. But we didn't play well. Yeah, thanks.
Anything in there, Tony? I'll start with you, man. As Tom Thibodeau leaves the podium, anything in there that you heard that you want to comment about? Tips?
He's not taking any excuses. I'll tell you that. He don't want to hear nothing about back-to-backs. I don't know. Tibbs seems the same in wins and losses. He doesn't seem to single people out really, or often. He tries to say something positive most of the time. Nothing stood out to me personally.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah, same. I mean, Thibodeau was just, after a loss like that, obviously the questions are going to be there. Tibbs, I think he handled it well. Next game, just gotta keep looking to the next game and continue to get better. No reason to just harp on the bad. Obviously everyone watched the game. Just keep on pushing, and I think that's the correct message to send to the team right now. The best message.
Okay. Keep on pushing. All right. Cornerstone, I don't know if you sleep over there. We're gonna listen to Evan Fournier, and then I'll come back. Yeah, I think he was asleep, and then I'll come back and ask you.
Well, I was just playing with you, man. I was just playing. No, I was just playing with you. No, I agree with Josh and Tone. I didn't really hear anything major. I thought that I was going to get a little snippet of him getting on Obi for the dunk he did, but he really didn't. And it was interesting about Evan. He didn't want to throw Evan under the bus. He said it was, it wasn't just him. It was a total, team effort that wasn't on defense. So that was interesting. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. He gets on RJ for his shooting.
Well, he said he wasn't getting on RJ for his shooting. He said what he was saying is that he's seen RJ do it before, and he was sick. So, okay, you're sick. Once you get healthy, let's get back in the gym, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
That's what he was, that's what he said he was saying about RJ.
Okay.
But hey, we got Evan Fournier up here. We don't, the Knicks do. And make sure you go and subscribe to the New York Knicks YouTube page so you can catch all these interviews and more. They do shoot around interviews and all kinds of stuff. But this is Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen. See what he's got to say. He's the guy. He's the guy that people are pointing to for tonight's game. The players wanted him to outplay Chris Duarte, and he got thoroughly outplayed. All right, so let's take a listen to Evan Fournier.
Well, they got into a rhythm by getting easy buckets in transition, by getting offensive rebounds, and when you get going early, you feel good about yourself, and then you start making shots. And yeah, they have some weapons. They have guys that can score. They have bigs that can stretch the floor as well. So, and to be honest, they just outplay us physically. They were more physical and more into the game.
When you say that they outplayed you guys, they were more physical tonight. What do you attribute you guys not being able to match that level to?
It's a good question. It starts, individually. How do you prepare from the game? It was a special settings, back to back. We got in very late, so it kind of throw you off your routine. But we all been there. So how do you prepare for a game like that? Because we knew coming in that it was going to be physical because we played them 3 times already with the preseason, and you have to get yourself ready for that type of game regardless of the circumstances. And we did not do that.
For you, with this team, the thing has sort of been the inconsistency where you guys have such a solid win in San Antonio last night, and then you come out and you're not doing the same things that you were able to do last night. Mm-hmm. How are you kind of working through this inconsistency, and how can you kind of break through that to get to a place where you guys are playing the way that you want to more continually?
Talking about personally, or?
Yeah, personally, just kind of what you're going through with it.
Well, to be honest, I thought I was.
I mean, I'm not saying your game specifically. Okay. I'm saying as a team.
As a team, yeah, that's the challenge for us, to find consistency. It's a good question because we're all aware of it. We all know what we have to do, and yet we keep being inconsistent. So. I don't know. I wish I had the answer. Like I said, it starts individually. How do you approach the game, and how do you get yourself ready to play? There's nights where you're gonna miss shots. It's just basketball, but from a focus standpoint and execution, I think that's the biggest area where we have to get better. The execution, because you can run a simple play, but talking about offense, you can run a simple play, but if you have good timing, if you have good screens, if you have good spacing, it changes everything compared to when you're being a little casual, not executing with full speed, and you just wait for the last 5 seconds of the possessions to attack. So it's exactly the same way defensively. When you get into the ball, you're more physical. You kind of drive your guy out of the paint. It makes a total. It makes a huge difference. So.
What about you personally? What were you gonna say there?
No, well, I thought I was doing better, to be honest, before those 2 games. I had I'm not gonna tell you the name of the restaurant, but I had a terrible steak in San Antonio. I've been fighting steak.
Oh.
And I've been fighting. I don't know, but had like food poisoning stuff. So,
What are you talking about, bro?
I have to get right tomorrow. Yeah, and have a day off tomorrow to feel better. But I thought I was playing better, to be honest. Just have to, feel better physically. It's a shame because the steak was actually very good. The next day, messed me up. Yeah, I know.
So that's why Chris Duarte put it to
Big time. Not really.
Okay, so that's hard too. With
Yeah,
your energy.
yeah, for sure. But like I said, we knew the circumstances of the game, and even though we got in at 3 last night, we played last night, and we could have done better for sure.
What about the defense? Both the team defense, them scored 122 points, and your defense, how do you assess those two things?
Our defense compared to theirs?
Team defense and your.
I don't think anybody plays good defense tonight, so I think we're all in the same bag. Just not. The execution was just not good enough. The game plan was pretty simple. We know they have guys that love to reject pick and roll. We kept let that happening. We know we were going. They was going to push the ball early because of how they play, and we did not run back in transition. The first 5 minutes. And rebound, they have physical guys. Sabonis is extremely physical. They're playing big with Turner and Sabonis together. So, just overall not good. Another way to say it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Hold up, man.
Hey, spraying the traffic. Gave a big WTF.
This man said he had a bad steak in San
It worked for RJ.
Oh man. Oh God.
Oh man. I don't even know what to say to that. Tony, I don't know. Tony, voice of reason here, man. You the voice of reason. I don't even know what to say.
I mean,
Don't shake it, scratching his head.
It's not even. I don't know, man. I was pretty high on Fournier too, and I'm really starting not to like him. Like,
oh man.
Oh
God. Oh, where's the Tylenol?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm speechless. I'm like Tibbs right now. Like I'm just waiting for the next one, man.
Yeah.
I hope we get a better effort.
Why would you even say that?
Man.
Why would you even say that?
And if you're gonna say it, you know what? Name the restaurant. You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. Josh, any thoughts on that, man?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I've been to San Antonio. They got some really good food. I don't know about steak, but they got some really good food. No, I mean, not a good look for the organization. This is the guy that you went out and you spent the money on and to go get in the offseason. And it's just not really working right now. Some games he has it, some games he's able to knock down shots. But I want to say out of the 23 or 25 games we played this season, majority of those games haven't been good. And you need more from the guy that we're paying, $18 to $20 million to a season. So like I said, but I don't think it's completely catastrophic because again, his contract is flexible. You can be able to move a guy like that. Right. So it's not completely catastrophic. I do blame the front office for bringing him in and making him like the main guy you want to sign in the offseason. But, it's not all, this team is not all said and done. So you can be able to move him. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. We got to be able to get him out of here and get somebody else in here.
He just, listen, he started off his time in New York really good, endearing himself to the fans. This right here, I think he just lost everybody.
I don't know what's hey man, I don't know what's worse. When Enos Cannon said, when I think of the playoffs, my nipples get hard, or this right here. I don't know what's worse, man.
I don't know.
I don't know what's worse.
I don't know, man.
Oh man, he didn't do Evan didn't do any favors because that's gonna be replayed and replayed and replayed. And it's gonna hit Twitter, man, and Instagram. Everybody's going.
I haven't looked. It's probably over.
They're gonna be clowning that. I want to see
there.
what Macri has to say about it, man. I know Macri gonna lose his thing, man.
In the restaurant.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Let me get you a call here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Oh man.
Hey, how you doing? It's, Zaheem. I called the other night.
Yeah, what's going on, Zaheem? How you feeling, man?
I'm sorry. What?
I don't know. We all got a loss for words with that one.
So is he blaming the steak? That's why he can't play defense?
I guess so.
Listen, man. Listen. Like I said the other night, there's so much dysfunction in this team. I agree with the guy in the super chat about the offense. And what you guys said, we only run 3 offensive plays. I feel like we don't have nothing. Like Tibbs don't have no answers right now. I feel like the team don't have no answers. Like we just stuck right now. Like I don't know. I feel like we need a trade. We need a coach. Like I feel like he don't know how to use the team correctly. That's just me. Also, like I think Tibbs is stuck in the old generation. Like I know he likes to play hard defense, but we're not doing none of that right now. I don't know. What is he not seeing? Like, why is he not playing Quentin Grimes over Fournier? Like, I don't understand. Or somebody. I even see Kevin Knox right now. That's how bad it's getting with me. Like, I'm just tired of seeing Evan Fournier. Then I feel like he really messed up by taking Kemba out because nothing changed. We still look bad. And yeah, I don't know. Man. It's just sad to see. Like, also I agree with y'all, which I said about like ownership and Tibbs. There's a lot going on with this team. This is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot happening with this team right now. A lot going on. You spoke about 1975 Jam Rock and what he was saying about excuse me, about the offense. He also said, what did Tibbs learn? Thank you for the super chat, by the way. He said, what did Tibbs learn from Kerr that 1 year watching?
I don't think he learned anything.
The only thing I'll say to that is, learning something and implementing it is 2 different things. Like some people just have a mind for certain things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so like Kerr can have a set that works for him all the time, and Tom Thibodeau steals that set, but he doesn't understand how to actually apply it. You know what I mean? Because Kerr just has that mind or something like that. Which is the reason why people keep saying, he needs an offensive coordinator out there, and I agree. Somebody that can really create.
I said he should have called Terry Scott. I feel like he should have.
Yeah, that's what you said. Exactly. Right. He needs somebody out there that can, and that person doesn't even have to call the plays from the bench, but in practice and training camp, when they had training camp and all of that, that person's putting in the offense. It's not uncommon to see an assistant drawing up the plays in the timeout.
Of course. I see it all the time.
You know what I mean?
Also, I feel like Tibbs, he's just so arrogant. Like, if it ain't that one way, he don't know how to do it. Like, he just don't know how to make adjustments. Like, I don't get it. Like Like, and then with the center's position, like, it's like, what are we gonna do? It's like,
Oh my gosh,
Nick's
I don't
not
know.
playing. He's hurt. Noel's hurt. Then we gotta go with Todd. I feel like just let the young kid Sims play. Like I don't know what he learned from the whole games. Like, we played the young kids. They play well. Then I don't know. He goes back next game. He wants to ride with the vets, and they tie it. I just don't understand him. Like, I know his rotation is usually 8 or 9, but I feel like we have a good bench enough that you can extend it more. Like, let the young boys play. Like, I don't know. I feel like he messed up with the Kemba thing. I don't know, because it's like, can you even bring him back from doing that? Like, after you do that, like, what do you do? Like, I'm gonna ask y'all something. What would y'all do? What would y'all do to help this team? Like, that's what I want to know. What would y'all do?
I mean, for me, I'd make some moves. When we're ready, when we are available to make some moves, I'd start making some moves. I'm pretty sure Leon Rose and those guys have been talking to other teams about players. They're probably talking to Tom and say, what do you need? And hopefully they're looking to try to go out and get some of those players. It's got to be making moves, in my opinion.
It got to be. All right, last thing. Yeah. Sorry. I know it probably won't happen. We always wish things would happen. Like, I don't know. What I want to see, like, I know we really need a point guard so bad, but Alderberg can't be a point guard. I feel like what you can do is take Fournier out, put Burks in, and start, I don't know, I guess quickly or somebody. But I want to see, like, can we get a guard? Like, I wish we could get Shea Alexander, somebody, like, even Darren Fox. I don't care if we get Dame or not. Like, we need a point guard so bad. Like, we just need something. We need a spark. That's why I want to see Quentin Grimes play, because every time he comes in, he does something good. He scores a 3 or something, then he takes it out. I don't understand Tibbs. Like, he puts him in the third quarter with like 8 seconds left, and then next half, you don't see him again. I don't know.
I think it all boils down to trust. Not that Grimes hasn't, has done anything. I think it all boils down to, I know what these guys can do when we play them. He just not trust. Tibbs, like you said, Tibbs was old school. I think it comes down to trust, and then it comes down to, did you earn your respect? I really think it comes down to some things like that.
I just feel like he's killing the team. Like, I think like y'all said, I think they don't even hate him right now. Like, it's so bad right now. Like, no one's listening to him. Like, and we don't have any plays. We don't have any defense. It's like, we don't have anything right now. Only thing that was good today was the Obi dunk. That was the only thing that was great today out of the game.
Yeah.
Everything else was hard.
I don't know. What Fournier said was at least funny. So
yes, I needed. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
We needed that.
Oh, God,
yeah.
That
I think he's gonna get Twitter, Instagram tomorrow. He's gonna be on it. He'll probably be on TNT for checking the food.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I can't think. I work by the garden, and it's like when I walk past the garden, I'm like, yo, what are we gonna do? It's like, what are we gonna do? And then to see fans, it's like, yo, what can we do? I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do? I want to see Deuce play. Like, it's so bad. Like, play the young kids. Like, I'm getting tired of it. Just play the young boys.
We'll see. Hey, my
Until we
man.
figure something.
I appreciate your time, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Out.
Make sure.
Oh. I cut him off. My bad. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes, you meant to cut him off. That's what you meant to do. You meant to cut him off.
Nah, I ain't mean to cut him off. That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, my chest hurts, man. My chest hurts, literally.
That's hilarious.
My chest hurts.
I don't know.
Tim, you want to do that super chat? I want to say something about this whole Randle and his contract situation. If you want to read the super chat first.
All right. Let's get with it. 1975 Jam Rock. Thank you again for the super chat. He said, next game, give Grimes and Deuce a small little burn and tell them both pick up 94 feet. Bring them on with the bench. Just a minute and 30-second run at times. Energy. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really do agree with that. It doesn't have to always be that they're in there for 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Grimes played 8.1 seconds last night was in San Antonio. You know what I mean? I had to let him get, put him in there for a minute, 2 minutes, see what happens. You're not feeling comfortable? Okay, I can pull you out. I mean, a game can change in a 2-minute span, but he plays defense. So it's not going to hurt you that much, in my opinion. But I'm going to say this, though. if things keep going like this with Fournier, Grimes could be in there. You know what I mean? Tibbs strikes me as the type of person that's like, I'm going to let you hang yourself. I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. And then finally, you've hung yourself. I got to do something. I got to clean up the mess. You know, and then he'll do what he wants to do. You know, so we'll see. But Josh, go ahead. You wanted to comment.
Yeah. So there was a lot of talk in the chat about Julius Randle and his contract situation. And they were like, well, why did the Knicks make a decision to pay him and sign him to an extension after what he did in the playoffs last year? My thing is the Knicks, to me, I felt like they had to bring him back, particularly if you're going to get him at a discount. Right now, Julius Randle's making, $20 million this year, and then next season is when his extension starts to kick in. So it's, 23, then 25 or whatever. That is a discount for Julius Randle, right? He's not a max. The Knicks don't have any max contracts on this team. So the notion that the Knicks are done and then that they chose Randle to be the guy is just not true. Not true at all. The reason why they signed him to that particular contract is so that down the line, maybe this offseason or the following offseason, they can go out and bring someone in, a number one option, right? Because Randle's not a number one option on the championship team. I think everyone can agree on that, right? But they have that ability to go out and sign that player, right? Or trade for that player because Randle makes, a little bit less. He took a little bit less to come here. Right. So I just think people have this wrong, this inclination that's completely wrong, that the Knicks are using Julius Randle as the number one guy and they're building around Julius Randle, making him the focal point to attempt to win a championship with him as the number one guy. I don't think that's the case at all. Because the Knicks don't have any max contracts on this team, I think that still means this team is rebuilding. And that's the reason why I'm not panicking. Even though the team is not playing up to its potential right now or what we thought, there's room for this team to improve, if not during the season and what the Knicks currently have, via trade and via transaction. So that's the difference between that. And if everyone thinks Julius Randle is making way too much money, I think you're completely wrong. I think in this new salary cap, $112 million of salary cap, $24 million is not a lot of money, right? There's a lot of third options in the NBA right now that make 30, right? And I feel like Julius Randle any offseason could have got 30 easily. No question about that based on his production. So he's only making 24 right now. In the final year, I think he makes 30. You know what I'm saying? I think, he'll be a little bit better by that point, but there's no question the Knicks have Julius Randle on a discount right now and that they can continue to get better if the front office makes some more moves.
Yeah. I hear you. Tony, Kev, any comments or follow-ups to what Josh just said?
No, he's on the money. we had to do it. We literally had to do it.
I agree as well. I think his contract is a steal.
I wish I could disagree with him because I don't like agreeing with Josh all the time. So, but I have to agree with him. He's right. We had to get him here, and
especially at a discount. You got him on the cheap. You know what I'm saying? Compared to what he could have got in an unrestricted free agency. You know what I'm saying? You had to bring him back. What does that tell? Other free agents, potential free agents, and guys that want to come here that after you gave your team one of your best seasons, that you're not going to sign them back. You know what I'm saying? You have to put your foot in the ground at some point. And I think with Julius Randle, it was a perfect opportunity for them to do that.
I mean, technically they didn't have to. Like he could have still been on his final year, and we could have brought him back, but
at less money.
The fact that he gave up some money is good for both parties. You know what I mean? That I'll say it's a steal in that aspect. But you know what I mean? Had we not, he'd be under pressure right now playing, you know what I mean, trying to, because it's a contract year, whether it be us re-signing him or him going somewhere else. So there's that too. I mean, and I'm not saying Julius relaxed at all or is comfortable, but you know what I mean? Like there's always that possibility of now you secured, you know what I mean? You just read up and there's less pressure on you. You know what I mean?
There's people out there that honestly think that no other team wants Julius Randle. That is complete nonsense.
Oh yeah,
there's
I don't
many teams in this NBA, particularly your contenders, that will use Julius Randle as either a second or a third option on their team and will gladly pay him $30 million.
Those same people who thinks nobody wants Julius Randle are saying trade Julius Randle. So they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we'll see. One more question. One more question before we, start to wrap this up. Shout out to Quiet Money. Thank you for the super chat. For some reason, I can't find it to get it up on the screen, but as soon as I find it, I'll get it up there on the screen. But he said, do you think maybe Tibbs has ran his course? It seems like it's
short course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like it would be so short of a time, for him to run his course. I don't know if that's it. I hope it's not it. I mean, I asked the question maybe a couple of streams ago, whether or not, his voice is beginning to fall on deaf ears. I hope not. I hope not.
I definitely think it's definitely a fair question, considering the fact that we assume that we think that maybe Tibbs didn't have anything to do with Kemba coming here, or some of the decisions that the front office made. That might be something that's on the table. And looking at James Dolan's history, listen, the Rangers last season were coming off a playoff appearance. They clinched a playoff berth with a very, very young team. Right, everyone was so high on them. Following season, the team I don't want to say regressed a little bit, but they didn't play to the same potential as they could be. And James Dolan got rid of the whole entire front office and coaching staff and brought in new people in here. So that's definitely a possibility for the Knicks based on James Dolan's history. Do I agree with it? No, because again, you have to put your foot in the ground somewhere to build some sort of consistency. You have to put your foot in the ground somewhere.
I don't think that. I honestly don't think that'll happen. That was. I mean, these are the Knicks we're talking about.
I mean, but the thing is this. But the thing, I can't see James Dolan doing that right now. I mean, they just went 41-31 last year. He at least has to give it. Okay, why would he do it right now? Why would he do it right now?
Sam, because I'm saying he has the history of doing that. This is not the first. When Mike Woodson he won 54 games, right? And in the following season, he only had one more season after that, and he got fired.
That was Phil Jackson.
That Phil Jackson.
But again, James Dolan has to sign off on. I'm not saying it's Dolan that's going to be making the decision. What I'm saying is, based on the history of the organization and the Rangers, I think James Dolan has a lot to do with it. He has to sign off on that stuff.
I get it.
It's a different regime. This is a different regime than the historic Knicks that we used to. The Knicks and bruises that we used to. It's a whole this ain't that regime.
And let's put this on the table. Josh has had a personal vendetta against Dolan. He knows it too. Look at him.
I'm just giving you, Kev. I'm just giving you the history, and I'm giving you recent history about what he did with the Rangers and that organization who was in the same, literally the same exact position, as the Knicks last season, and now this season is not going the way the fans want or whatever, and the expectations or whatever. And he made that decision. That's what I'm saying. He has a record of doing this, a recent one.
I think there was more to it than just that.
Here's where your credibility is challenged. When I was complaining about Comcast not airing any of the on MSG, what did you tell me? Be good and tell me what you told me.
What I told you was James Dolan's always had some sort of media war.
Bow. Bow. Right there. Mic drop.
I mean, I can't see. I mean, when you go back to Mike Woodson being let go, that was he brought in Phil Jackson, and Phil Jackson had his idea of how he wanted the team to run. He didn't think Mike Woodson was going to be able to do that.
Sam, I'll just add one thing, right? That 54-win season wasn't just Mike Woodson. It was also a different front office in place, right? And the following season, the front office got removed. That allowed Phil Jackson to come in and make whatever decision he wanted.
Right.
I'm not saying Leon Rosenthal is going to get fired now. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, and Scott Perry and all of them. But what I am saying, Dolan does have a history of being a little, getting involved and getting that stuff done.
We know. I don't think that's happening.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't. I don't want that to happen.
Josh, you need to save that for the controversy.
Yeah. Real quick, Josh. Real
we'll
quick,
see.
Josh. He doesn't have a history, Tony? He doesn't? You think all that stuff is just out the window?
But
I know, but
let me just say this right here. Josh. When we did win those 54 games, the next year, that management team was still there, and they traded for Andre Bagliani, and then that's what took us.
No, that management team wasn't there. Actually, Glenn Grunwald or
Yes,
Grunfeld, whatever the name is now. He resigned.
Oh, he
At the beginning of the season, he resigned. Whatever happened, I don't know all the what happened, but he resigned, and Steve Mills took over.
Are you sure?
Yes, and then they made the move. Yes.
So you're saying Steve Mills
right at the beginning? Well, they made the move for Bargnani. First during the off season.
Okay.
And then as soon as the season started, like days before the season started, Glenn was out. He resigned, and then Steve Mills took over.
Okay, so Glenn did make the trade for Bargnani,
I believe
correct?
so. I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Because that's when everything hit the fan once we got Bargnani here. That's when everything,
All I'm saying is James Dolan has the history of making decisions like this. He does. He just does. I understand this is a new front office and everything, but
listen, Dolan has stayed out the way when it comes to anything personnel wise of players or coaches or anything like that. He stayed out the way. When he's had to step in was just to remove Phil and then reassign Steve Mills, because Steve Mills is still with the organization, right? Some part of MSG, right?
Yeah, somewhere along the line
somewhere along the line. Yeah, that's the only
something.
time he stepped in. But anything else dealing with players or coaches, he stayed out the way.
See what's gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Ah, boy. Yeah, let me get to another phone call here.
Guys, I gotta get off. It's great talking with y'all. We'll do it again.
All right. We'll I'll be getting off in shortly anyway. But caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Love y'all.
Hey guys, good evening. Great show, by the way. It's the first time I tapped in with you guys. My name is Jose from Brooklyn. Lifelong Knicks fan, lifelong basketball player, coach, technician, the typical New York City Knicks fan.
All right. Appreciate you, man. What's your name again?
Jose from Brooklyn.
Jose. Nice to meet you, Jose. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate you for checking out the show.
Yeah, man, that was cool. Really appreciate you guys, man. I'd like to bring a perspective that isn't the most popular one.
Okay.
But we all have our problems with Randle and Tibbs, right? My major problem is, and I'm on the camp to trade Randle, and I'll make my case for it in a bit. Last playoffs, all the bells and whistles, the alarms should have went off. Tibbs is not the guy, and neither is Julius Randle, right? We can't build on them. We defend ourselves, right, with no ball movement. Like something simple like a ball reversal, you're telling me we can't do a ball reversal? We're an NBA team. I just want everybody who's listening, just count ball reversals that we get in an NBA game. We're under 2 a game, and that's despicable. That's pathetic. That's the first thing you teach in team basketball is move the ball and move players. We don't do that, right? Like Tibbs is an NBA coach, and we can't do that. We get no off-the-ball cuts. We get no movement. We have zero, surprise, no flexibility, right? And there was no reason to re-sign Tibbs. Why? Because he had a winning season during the pandemic year, right? I am the kind of guy that would have flipped Julius Randle. Flip him for picks, players that are cheaper, that have a better ceiling. Look, this is Julius Randle's ceiling, by the way, guys. Rude or not, this is his ceiling, right? What does he do? I think he's a cancer, right? I've played hoops with dudes that need their points, and Julius Randle's a guy that needs his stats. Julius Randle doesn't do anything on the court unless it's a stat. Everything goes through him. He sets a screen only to get the ball for points or to give it back on a handoff for an assist. Julius Randle never sets an off-the-ball screen for somebody else, right? Julius Randle never reverses the ball just to make sure everybody touches it, right? This is the guy you guys want to build on?
So,
right?
but
now,
let me ask
he's definitely not a 1 option. He's not a 2. Perhaps he's a 3, and I understand that. But when you are a player and you want to play with other people, nobody's jumping off their team in free agency to come play with Julius Randle. Nobody's like, yes, let's go play with Julius Randle. Let's go play with Tibbs.
Let me ask you this.
Tibbs is outdated.
Let me ask you this, Jose. Is it Randle that's not going and setting those off-ball screens, or is it the system that says, because we don't see anybody setting off ball screens, not just Randle.
For sure.
We don't see anybody
But
doing
if Julius Randle does it, guess what? Everybody does it, right? Because when my best player sets an off-the-ball screen, that's a completely selfless act in basketball.
No, I get it. I get it. But what I'm asking is, when you
And
look
I'm pretty
at,
sure he did it today.
you know, when you look at the system that the Knicks have, it's just not designed. There's no off-ball screens. There's no cuts. There's no scissor cuts. There's no backdoor cuts. Right? It's not that type of offense.
Correct.
If he goes and sets not, and I'm not saying that people wouldn't know what to do, right? But if he goes and sets an off-ball screen, just says, I'm just going to set this off-ball screen on whoever it is, right? But guys are running whatever that set is on this side of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Does it even amount to anything without this being, here's the system that Tom Thibodeau put in place for you guys to play basketball on the floor? You know what I mean? Do we have to attribute that to Tibbs, or do we have to attribute it to Randle? That's what I'm saying, I guess.
Oh, it's both. It's both of them. Tibbs has no flexibility. I don't think he should be a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator, right? Like, look at his history. He coached with the Knicks early in our heyday with Patrick Ewing and all those defensive monsters in the defensive league, right? And then he coached in Houston with Yao Ming, right? And then he coached in Boston with KG, right? So, and then he went to Chicago. He did great there because he had Derrick Rose. I would have been a pretty good coach with Derrick Rose too. I'm not gonna hold you. MVP D Rose, jumping out the gym D Rose, yeah, he was pretty good. Then he went to the Timberwolves and was a mess with Jimmy Butler and 2 All-Stars. And that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading. That Jimmy Butler Minnesota mess, that's where we're heading. Nobody listens to Tibbs anymore, right? Because it's outdated. Everything he does, like, he's a defensive coach in modern NBA offensive basketball where you're not really allowed to touch people, right? And he has zero offensive mind. So what do we, he needs to go.
I mean, I agree that we need to figure out how to really expand and open up this offense, and we thought it was going to happen now. We also have to look at the fact that, you look at last night, and what the Knicks did looked really good because guys were hitting shots.
Right.
This year, guys not hitting shots.
Right. Then what do we got?
When guys aren't hitting shots, it's not going to look good for anybody, including Tibbs, including Randle. Is it? I guess we have to figure out which one is it, because when guys hit shots, even when we just hit them at an average pace, 47% from the field, 37% or 38% from the three-point line, it looks good. When we're not hitting shots, it looks bad. So is it because our players are not hitting shots, or is it because the offense? Even when we are hitting shots, we still don't see the backdoor screens and those type of stuff. That's not the offense.
So
that's not the offense at all. We know that. You know
our
what I'm saying?
offense is based on hitting and missing, right? It's that simple. It's hitting and missing. And your offense should not just be hitting and missing, right? It should be actual ball movement, player movement. When I say we defend ourselves, it's because we stick people in the corner and they don't get the ball. And then when they get the ball, they're surprised they got it. So what does that, what does that do for your
But shouldn't
rhythm?
We have professional basketball players. Shouldn't they be hitting wide open
game
shots?
Is still, you still need to touch the ball, professionals or not.
True. But they do touch the ball. Guys touch the ball. Shouldn't they be hitting wide open shots? Shouldn't they be hitting wide open shots?
If you're stuck in a corner and the ball doesn't reverse, you're not getting the ball. You might get the ball. You can't think on that side I might get the ball.
I agree. I would love to see more ball reversal in his offense. We do get stuck on one side of the floor a lot, so I would love to see more ball reversal. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's all predicated on just one guy.
No, it's the offense. It's also
the offense altogether.
It's also Julius Randle. Pass the ball, bro. Like honestly, like he'll do better when he passes the ball because
can I ask
that alleviates the pressure on him.
Yeah.
Jose, can you hear me?
Josh has a question for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Jose, I have a question. So you said Tibbs is kind of old school and a new era style of basketball. Would you say that Steve Kerr is a new school kind of innovative kind of coach?
Well, Steve Kerr came from two systems, right? Steve Kerr played under Phil Jackson in the triangle offense with Tex Winters, right? So that offense is fully ball movement. Now, the beauty of the triangle offense is that it allows everybody around to touch the ball and move the ball. And guess what? The triangle offense is the most successful offense in all of basketball. So they play a two-guard front where anybody can walk up the ball. They don't have a true point guard. So, like, Steve Kerr isn't a great example because that offense is super flexible. And he also played under Pop, right? So
but I'm trying to use your example of back screens. Golden State does a lot of off the ball screens. They do a lot of off the ball movement, which is something that you want to see the Knicks do. That's why I bring up Steve Kerr. So it's not necessarily an old school kind of thing because the triangle offense is kind of an old school system, right? But the reason why I bring that up is because Golden State, right? What makes them so good is not just the offense that they run, but it's the players that they have. Right, so it's a balancing act. It's not just about Julius Randle. What Julius Randle's not doing. The coach also has to have a system in play to get other people involved, things of that nature. So I just disagree. I disagree with this notion that if Julius Randle decides to set an off the ball screen, everyone else is going to set an off the ball screen. But it has to be a whole entire offensive system. And like Sim said, you got to have guys to knock down shots. So I just totally disagree with you. The fact that if Julius Randle does something off the ball, everyone else is going to do that too. I just don't think that's a real thing. I don't think that's the real thing in the NBA.
Right, but the crazy thing is, bro, we'll never know because he doesn't do it. Right? Like, he doesn't do it. Do you know who sets off the ball screens? Steph Curry. He's the best shooter on earth, and he sets off the ball screens. It's just something natural to do in a basketball game, right? No, it's not like I'm not asking Julius Randle to be a manager. I'm not asking him to do anything crazy. Like, it's something so simple, right? Like, he doesn't do that very often, right? And partly it's because, and remember, I started with Tibbs and Randle. It's not just Randle, right? It just looks terrible because Randle's the focal point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And something so simple that we just don't do, like, that's a little crazy, right? Yeah. You want to hear a crazy stat? I think for like 3 or 4 years in a row, you know who shot the most open threes in the NBA?
Who?
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. That's insane. You're telling me Steph Curry and Klay Thompson get left alone? No. They just move without the ball. And everybody does it, right?
But that's a part of the offensive system that they run. Like you said, that's what the triangle offense is, where a lot of guys get a chance to touch the ball. The Golden State Warriors also have led the league in assists for a number of years. Right, so it's the offensive system that they run. So you can make an argument. So if Julius Randle had a better offensive philosophy, don't you think that he'll be doing those kinds of things? Don't you think that Evan Fournier and a lot of these guys will be setting off the ball screens?
I've never seen Julius Randle be like a high IQ basketball player. I've seen him be a scorer, right? So I don't think that Julius Randle would fit in a system like that. I think Julius Randle does what he does very well. He's not a good manager, right? He's not a good facilitator. He gets a bunch of looks. He's not a high IQ guy, right? So I don't think that like he can actually play in a system like that. But sure, I'd love to see it. That's what I want because that's just a good basketball system that allows like a sufficient high level of basketball to play until you start hitting shots.
Well,
right?
I mean, well, the thing is, I think we got to have somebody to put that system in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not hating on Tibbs. Tibbs has his style. I like what he's done so far to go to the next level. Maybe we need someone that can come in and assist him in putting that type of system in place to see if the guys can actually do it or not. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
We'll see.
Exactly.
But hey, Jose, I appreciate I appreciate your time,
right.
man. Hopefully you continue to watch and call in.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, guys. Yeah. It's a pleasure. And like I said, man, like I just want to see the Knicks win. I'm not a hater. Like I love my team. I've been rooting for the Knicks. I just know the X's and O's of basketball, like at a high level. And like, bro, there's a reason why like the Spurs have won for so many years. the Lakers won for so many years. Like this, it's the same like organizations are winning because they do it right, and we just do it all wrong. And here goes this season. You know what I mean? It sucks, but it is what it is. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure, my friend. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and I will call more, guys. I like you guys. You guys are cool.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Pleasure, guys. Good night.
Yeah, we gonna see, man. I don't know. 12-13 on the season, ladies and gentlemen. 12-13 on the season, but we're gonna head up out of here. I'm gonna get some rest. By the way, Josh, we actually won our first game tonight.
There you go. Congrats.
I didn't know what to expect. We actually won, and we won by double. Well, no, we won by 9. We were up by double digits, but we won by 9. The last 30 seconds of the game, I put in some players that have no clue what they're doing on the floor, just so they can get their feet wet. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't expect it. But we came out, we played, we warmed down. We have no offense at all because we don't have a lot of skill, but we warmed down defensively. By the third quarter, they no longer wanted to bring the basketball up the floor. That's the way we got to do it. We'll see what happens there. I'll keep you guys updated on how my high school season is going, but we got to.
Everybody in the chat, put some claps in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Them and the girls,
Sure.
Okay.
We got a nice
thumbs up.
We got a nice a win that I didn't expect to get. Asked Josh, I told him, I said, I don't know, man. We might get smacked tonight. I told him before the game, we might get smacked because I'm playing with a team of girls that only 3 of them have ever played organized basketball. The rest of them been playing soccer and volleyball, and they decide they're gonna come try and play basketball. So our focus was on
at least they're athletic.
Yeah, exactly. Our focus was on out hustling every team, and that's all we said when we met before the game. We said we're gonna win the hustle game tonight. I don't care what the scoreboard says. We're gonna win the hustle game, and we won it. We warmed down. They didn't want to play no more. But anyway, hopefully the Knicks can get themselves together, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully they can get themselves together. They play again on Friday in Toronto, another tough team. Another team that can bang, is going to be physical. That's going to be a tough game. The Knicks got to be ready to go for that one. At least they got a day in between, get some rest, recalibrate, get a shoot around in. Maybe they walk through some stuff and see if we can come away victorious. Tony, any last words?
As always, shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time, and Sim, keep doing your thing.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Josh?
Yeah, I just want to say, Knicks fans, don't panic. I don't think this is a catastrophe. The Knicks have a lot of opportunity to make some moves and make some things happen. Just don't panic. This is supposed to be rebuilding. We're building something, right? So this team is not a finished product. I understand people are down, but I think everything will eventually work itself out because of the opportunities that we do have. So everyone just don't trip.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are up out of here. Catch you on the next episode of the Shoot Around, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful, spread love. We out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK.